Hello, mate. You're right.
Hello, Maddie boy. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you feeling? You're not too very well, are you?
No, I'm not too very well. Not at all. Not at all, mate. I've had a little small thing called COVID in 2024. Can't believe my luck.
Wait, that old thing? I thought we eradicated it.
Oh God, yeah. Tell me about it.
I thought we
were
sent that
well
away
beating.
back to. No, God, okay.
Back to Chinatown. No, but sadly not. Yeah, I've still got it. So I got it last week. The worst bout of it I've ever had. And I'm coming out the other side. But yes, apologies to listeners who were expecting a lovely bonus episode on Friday just gone. No,
Yes,
no
they
bonus
were.
to be had.
Didn't happen.
We recorded, and then literally within probably about 48 hours, it was, well, what was it in my house?
Yeah.
Game
mate,
over.
sounds rough. So dear listener, so sorry about the episode not coming out on Friday, but it will be coming out this week. We're going to record our review of The Exorcism after this episode, so we will do that. But welcome back to another delightful episode, my dear friend Forrest. It's
How are
so
you,
sad. I'm okay. I've been really struggling, and unlike you in terms of like your COVID, it sounds absolutely horrendous. But I've had bad sinus issues with hay fever.
Oh, no.
My sinuses have been absolutely shot to shit for the last week, and it's been actually, to be honest, the worst I've had in a few years. So we both might be sounding a bit rough.
Well, may I say, your nose and your sinuses are looking more radiant and gorgeous than they ever have
Thank
before,
you, mate. Thank you. I've managed to stay inside all day today. That's why.
You are looking, you're like sunshine. You are, mate. Look at you, fresher than you've ever been before.
I mean, it's funny because I've kept all the windows shut. I've literally made, no fucking pollen's coming in this house today. No way.
Kids are absolutely sweating the balls off, but don't worry about the little ones. You're suffering with the curtains and windows closed.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no way, don't keep that pollen out. Yeah, mate, I've had like rashes on my tummy, on my arms. I've had literally the pollen's just been so bad. I don't know if anybody else has been struggling with it. Do let us know, because I do feel quite
pollen
alone.
watch.
Hashtag pollengate.
Tell us all about your pollen problems here on Tommy Hero.
Do you know what? I tell you what. Let's not delay. Let's go straight in because we are here. We're going to be talking about The Boys yet again. We've got episode 5. Let's roll that intro.
There we go. Fantastic. We are at episode 5 of The Boys. I'm going to say a strong episode.
A lot better. I say this is the most entertaining episode so far of the series, I'd got to say. It felt like we had a lot of movement in terms of character development for Huey. I felt like this was Huey's episode. We had Victoria Newman has a significant other, of which Seema, is it Seema? Sema? Seemi? Seema?
It is
Samir,
yeah. Neither one of those.
Neither one of those. And we don't get too much going for Homelander, really, other than the fact that his relationship with Ryan, and Ryan's kind of like being a bit of a dick.
Oh, he's grown up to be a naughty little boy. He has to tell him.
What's going on there, Ryan?
It's disgusting.
Don't force people to slap each other. Come on.
That's all I'm a bit.
It's like the year 9 teacher. Do you remember in Spider-Man? We did Spider-Man with the year 9 guy down there. Excuse me, Ryan, don't do that. Don't get him to slap him. No. Why? Because he's been a dick. Well, look, fair enough. There's other ways of resolving that conflict. Come on, Ryan. Get into English. I don't care if you're Homelander's son. I don't care. You're late. You're 10 minutes late. It's going on the book, mate. Get in. Charles Dickens. Turn to page 62.
Yes, Miss Thomas, I will have the shepherd's pie for lunch. Thank you. Take care now. Right, class. It's lunch.
That is what the boys is missing. It's just like a really harsh northern accent character.
Come on, love. That's all calm down a bit, please. All right? No need to be punching each other. Got Homelander. Come over, Homelander. Fantastic to see you.
And here we have the newest member of the Seven, Teabag. Hey, you're right. Teabag.
I go into Seven. I see the Seven every 5 days. Lovely, fantastic group of people. Couldn't ask for anything better, to be quite honest. Deep's doing his stuff after. Deep loves a tea bag, and you know what? He loves it deep.
He just has 2 massive bollocks, and then just drinks tea like consistently to keep himself alive. He's like, "Hey, you right, mate?" Homelander, would you like a brew? You want a brew, Homelander? Let's get deep in that tea bag, deep.
Oh my god! I'll tell you what. If the first person who emails us at don'tbeahero@gmail.com with an illustration of Teabag, I will personally buy you tickets to Deadpool versus Wolverine.
Oh, that is saying something.
I'm doing it, Matt. I'm doing it. I've said it out loud, and you can stick this on real footage. I'm doing it. Get me an illustration. don'tbeahero@gmail.com. Teabag, 2 big balls, a member of the boys. You can win yourself 2 tickets to Deadpool versus Wolverine.
Wow. I mean,
it's coming out of Matt's credit card.
Yeah.
Yeah, I promise you. Here we go. I'll lay my heart on the line there.
Brilliant. There we go. Go ahead there, dear listener. Get yourself some free tickets. I mean, what? Mate, well done. I mean,
I don't know where that's come from. It's the COVID. It's the COVID
the cast, mate.
in a week's time, I'll be like, oh, fucking, what have I done? Oh, what? It's 50 quid where you live? Oh, yeah. Give it a go. But yes, I can't remember what were we talking about.
We're at overview thoughts. What were your thoughts for the episode?
Overview thoughts. Good. It's felt much more linear, much less broken and split in terms of plots. I enjoyed the plots that we followed. It's not without its faults. Definitely not without its faults. And again, there are some issues there that would need to be addressed. And I would also argue that we got a little bit more sense as to where the series is going, but ultimately there's no one single golden thread, in the words of Matt, that I can see at the moment.
I mean, we all knew it was going to be starting. I mean, I'm surprised we're getting to the virus end of things already at episode 5, but to be honest, is it 8 episodes or 10 episodes? I can't remember now. It's probably 8
episodes, right?
Well, then to be fair, actually, then we're doing it at the right time. So, quite clearly we're getting Gen V link-ups now. We had a few Gen V characters turn up in this episode this week, last week, I don't know. I think there's lots still to play out. I don't think, obviously, we know we've not got another season of The Boys, but obviously we've got another season of Gen V as well coming out at some point. The virus thing, I think, is going to be an ongoing concept for quite some time.
Yeah.
Quite some time. I don't think we're going to get any kind of resolutions at all. I don't think anything like the virus is going to go out in mass by the end of this series at episode 8. Everybody gets sick and dies. Don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to wait for that to kind of bleed through into season 5. What I think, if we go straight into kind of let's do it. Screw it. We're at episode 5. Let's talk about where we think this is going to finish. I think end of episode 8. Butcher's gonna end up finding that guy he's captured Samir to recreate the virus. He's gonna recreate the virus. He's gonna inject it into Homelander, and we're gonna see either like an Inception moment where we're expecting something to happen, expecting him to get ill, and then he doesn't, or we don't see it, or it doesn't work at all, and then it's like a shit. What now? It could make it, for instance, or what if he actually didn't create a virus, but he actually created something that makes him stronger?
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Super evolved Homelander.
Super evolved. Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. How do I think it's going to end?
Interesting. Anyway, Matt.
No. Interesting because I'm trying to think of my own answer to the question. So I think that's why my mind's preoccupied. I do think that's a great suggestion, and probably one of those two scenarios could very well much happen. Very much could happen.
Wow. Seeing COVID brain in real time is quite. It's a bit of a study. This is.
It's really, people, forget your chimps. Just have me on a podcast talking for an hour and I can show you what COVID does to you. After 10.5 minutes, scientists have broken newfound knowledge about how to... so I think how this series is going to end. So I think we have to remember two things. So it's got one more series, and that we have also... which I think is going to be quite key, we've got another series of Gen V. Now, heavily assuming that Gen V Series 2 precedes the final series of The Boys. So I don't think I'm going to assume that the virus arc may well go back to Gen V Series 2, so I don't think we're going to get a finished article on the what I just talked about, what the word I just used.
You won't see it wrap up.
Yeah.
What
is the thing that I'm trying to describe? The actual thing, the virus. The virus. The virus. It's going to be a long night. Brace yourselves. The virus at the end of this series. I think we've got to have a death. It's going to be a big death in the final episode of the series. We had two deaths that were teased last series. They didn't die. So someone has to die big at the end of this series, because I believe that will be the catalyst for the final series, and it will be about getting everybody on side against either one person, Homelander, or Ryan, potentially, And I think maybe it's that. Maybe it's everyone versus Homelander and Ryan, and maybe I don't know how that's going to happen. Who they kill, someone's going to die. I feel. And
that's
I think
pretty cool. I mean, dear listener, that'd be really good to get your thoughts. Actually, who do you think is going to die in The Boys at the end of the season? If you think it's a big character, give us your theories, give us your ideas, give us your concepts, reasons, and your whys. Leave it in the comments section. Really interested to hear that. Cool.
I have a feeling it may well be Butcher at the hands of Homelander, because that pits Huey, having Huey lost his dad in this episode and therefore grieving already. If he's grieving already and then loses Butcher, who he's very closely assigned to, and maybe we even, Starlight even befalls before the end of this series. So if we lose both characters, we could have a very angry Huey and a very angry set of boys and a little Homelander and his child.
I completely agree. I think now knowing full well, like last week we were talking about Simon Pegg's role in this and as Huey's dad, and the only right way for his character to finish and to die was going to be this episode. And we saw it get played out in ways actually I didn't think. I mean, the fact that he kind of was like, he got the power, he didn't know what to do with it, and it was all just like, what the hell? And then Huey was reacting really rationally and really calm, which actually I thought was, if you're thinking about Huey's journey, we see a season 1 Huey who did not know how to react to Robin's being murdered right in front of him. Right, he screamed out of his head, screamed her name. He didn't know what to do with Butcher, with all those murders, being flown into a flipping whale. He just sat there. It just absolutely just didn't know how to react to it. And then all of a sudden, when his father was then accidentally going into these kind of like powers and not knowing how to do it, and actually accidentally committing murder a few times in the ward, Huey then responding to that calmly and trying to get him to calm down shows a really nice full circle, I think, because then ultimately, if you go back to the first episode in the first season, where Huey's dad says to him, "You will never amount to anything. You're not that type of guy. You're not the hero." And then we see this really gorgeous moment when he tries to, he basically is the hero to his dad. For his dad in that moment, and I thought that was pretty powerful. And actually, I thought that was definitely the highlight of the episode so far. The highlight of the season, actually, for me.
I think all of those scenes were fantastic. I thought
they were great.
Simon Pegg's acting chops in that episode were fantastic. I thought he played it so well to play someone who's like starting to lose grip on all reality. Equally, like the way they sprinkled a bit of like absolute humour with the couple who were like talking in a hospital room, so and then Simon Pegg just rocks up and walks straight through him. It's just fucking mental.
Actually, but it's not the craziest thing in the episode, which we'll talk about in a minute.
No. Yeah, very true. But I thought all of those scenes were really great. I think, as I pointed out last week, the only thing that's a little bit of an ick. Oh, I hate that word. Little bit of an makes me gives me the creeps a bit. Is so Huey's mum, whose name I've forgotten. Remember Huey's mum?
Huey's mum. Just say Huey's mum.
Huey's mum.
We know those.
All right, Matt.
Forrest, just fucking say Huey's mum.
Who's got no name for Matt. Classic sexist attitudes. No, I'm joking.
I knew you'd go there.
Yeah. You know. Huey's mum. So I said last week that how would she have known that the vial of Compound V was in Huey's coat? And I was right, because that's how she said at the start of the episode. She went, "Oh, I thought you would." I thought, why would she think that? Unless I've missed something, maybe earlier in the series, last year. Why would she think that? When they had their conversation,
she works for Vought, though, doesn't she? We found out that she does work for Vought,
yes.
So she probably knows what that is.
Yeah.
Just by looking at it.
Yeah, it's how she would think that Huey would have some, though. And how she would know. That's the bit I can't really. I can't put those storylines together personally. But anyway, by the by, a very small detail, and it's a detail to get from A to B. I understand that. And I thought a generally really nice set of scenes. Awesome. Let's move on to the boys, and let's start with Butcher and Jeffrey. Our good friend Jeffrey Dean.
So, mate, okay, so the theory last week that got a bit of traction online is that Joe Kessler is Jeffrey Dean Morgan, but Butcher is actually imagining Joe, and he's actually not really there. Now with that theory that you've got, and other people have that theory as well in the show, somebody else doubled down in it as well. I think a comment on YouTube for one of our shorts this week. I think you're right. Because, again, this was a type of episode where we didn't see any interaction from anybody else to Joe. Only Butcher and Joe together. Not touching, not handing anything to each other. Mate, I think you're right.
And the biggest telltale sign at the end of this episode, Samir. So Butcher walks in with Joe into the stable, and we see Samir with no legs. What a touch, by the way.
Yep.
We'll expand on that when we talk more about that plot. But he walks in on Samir, and Samir looks at Butcher and then looks at the door where Butcher was talking, or Butcher was looking at Joe. Almost in a fashion that is slightly confused about who he's talking to.
Yeah.
So, I mean, boom.
That's a good find. I didn't notice that.
I can't take any credit for that theory because I definitely read it before I thought it.
No, not at all. Because I just see this complete shine of like just definitive, like egotistical kind of like, I got this. I'm a king of theories. Where's your crown, man?
I think we've done about 115, 116 episodes of this podcast now. So if I can finally get something right, Matt,
to be fair,
I'll be happy, mate. I'll be happy. You know, until the day they release about Obadiah and Thanos. And that's my long burn of a theory. But until then,
mate, could you imagine if like a what if episode and it happens?
Oh, I would go fucking nuts. We would go nuts. Imagine that episode where we find that information out.
That would. I think that would literally be the evidence that K-Dog genuinely listens to this podcast.
Yeah. And I would compile an episode together of all the times we've talked about it, and send it to Marvel Studios. I'll be like, it's great to have you as a listener, guys.
Do you know what? I've watched I watched the Amber Heard and Johnny. It's just so like out of topic, but I watched the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp documentary, and it was literally 3 episodes of just streamers and just content creators on this Netflix series, and I was like, how do we get on that? What do we need to talk about that's controversial to get on a Netflix series? So I'm hoping K-Dog does some stupid shit soon, so we can then talk about it and be like, we were right.
We were damn right. By the way, just a really short thing for anyone who didn't follow us back then. I made a theory where I said that Obadiah is actually Thanos.
Oh, yeah.
So there you go. Just going to clear that because there were a lot of confused faces, I'm sure. Bob from Belgium, you're still listening from episode 1, mate.
Yeah.
Nice to have you back. Anyway, moving on. So, Butcher. So we've got Butcher and Joe. I've put here, Butcher must know about the Gen V drug that kills Soups. That kills Soup via Mallory, but why are they so quick to help him? So there is a scene in this episode where Butcher goes to the rest of the boys and he goes, look mate, I've got my hands on a virus. It will kill the Soups. I fucking believe it. For better and for everyone. We've got to use it, right? This scene cannot be longer than about 3.5 minutes, and in 3.5 minutes he's managed to convince the boys who, and I say the boys as the core group, they have not been believing Butcher recently very much at all, and they've not really been on his side at all, but in 3.5 minutes he managed to convince them that this thing exists and that they should go to this place in order to seek out the truth. I thought that was a little bit too elaborate for my liking.
It's a little bit. I don't know. It might be just an oversight from the writers, maybe, because it felt like it was kind of just placed in a position in the episode where it was just like no one's going to listen to this bit, or anybody's going to take notice to this bit. And I think you're right, man. I think it is. I think it was a bit just like, wait, what? wait, what?
It would have made far more sense because and obviously, again, he obviously knows this through Mallory, and I think we see that in a scene in Gen V. I think that's Gen V where she's on the phone, right? Or maybe it is this series. I think it's Gen V because we see Butcher right at the end walking in. Mm-hmm. Do you remember? Mm-hmm. It would have made more. I would have believed this scene far more if Mallory was with him. If Mallory went in and he went, look, guys, we've kept this on the DL, but and obviously that's the main plot of this episode, right? This kicks in. They get Stan out of prison. They go
Stan's back.
All of it, and I just wish they'd kick-started in a more believable fashion for my liking. But anyway, Stan is back. Tell us your thoughts.
Stan is back. Yeah, no, I thought that was pretty cool. I thought we wouldn't have, seen Stan back at all. Judging by the projects that he's in. You know, still very much heavily involved in the new Captain America movie coming out. So you know, I thought that was it for Stan, but actually, no, he's back. He's in this, and it feels like we'll see Stan probably. I would say probably throughout the next few episodes into the series. Maybe he'll be a death. Maybe at some point. Maybe Victoria will get rid of him at some point. I think going to the house. So we're going to the house. They're finding the last remaining kind of like the lab. The house that Stan lived in is now being used as a hotbed to create en masse these and test the virus. And to his disbelief, he finds that that's the truth and that's the case. Victoria Newman then ends up being there, and he's like, "What the hell have you done to the house, mate? Like, this was not part of the plan.
I left you the house for 5 minutes, and you
look what
created a
you've done."
fucking laboratory out of it. At least have a party, Newman, like a normal person your age."
My chickens are trying to kill me.
Cockadoodle death. That's what they call that on the street.
Cockadoodle death. That should have been the flipping episode title. I think this was something like called Beware the Jabberwock, wasn't it? But
yeah.
this should have
Cockadoodle
been
death would have been.
Cockadoodle death.
Boom.
Mate, that's brilliant.
Tell you what,
That
this
is
COVID, going 1 minute the COVID fucks me right off. The next minute, woo, take me to Wondertown.
You're like that It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia meme with like Charlie Day like behind the board like, there it is. And then next you're just like what Charlie Day is and you know, empty-headed, sniffing glue and eating rats.
It's the name of my autobiography.
Sniffing glue and eating rats.
Cockadoodle death.
But yeah, we had like Terminator chickens, we had Terminator sheeps. They were like flying sheep, just with the weird like claw mouths. Like,
Yeah.
what did you think of that?
It was a bit like they used the laughing sheep in Thor. Do you remember Thor?
Oh yeah.
Love and Thunder, and they have
the
their goat. Yeah, they have goats, and they go screaming goats. And initially, first 2-3 scenes is quite funny, right? And then they just overdo it. And I almost don't know if this was an homage to that, but we see these sheep a couple of times, and it just goes on and on. And I'm like, all right, okay. It was really funny with all of these animals like attacking animals and attacking them. And then I was like, Christ alive, because again. Right? No one's dying from this. And if they are dying, it's someone we've only just met or couldn't give a crap about.
Or not even met. So there were two characters, two bodyguards that were part of that entourage that were in the kind of like external shots, and you could see like they're gonna die. So then one of the female bodyguards runs away, trying to go into the farmhouse, and it follows her shot, and you're like, she's gonna die. Oh, yeah, there you go. She's dead. Like, it was just
and she's gone.
So blatantly obvious. It's such a shame that the people have to, you know, you have to do that in order to create that circumstance. Why don't you just take the fucking risk? Come. Yeah, I mean, the boys, you don't need to be part of this as well. MCU are bad enough as it is. Just take the risk.
Out of all of the shows on Earth, I'm so surprised The Boys is so unwilling to kill off main characters.
We've spoken about this more than once, about this season, about that. And I think it's one of those things where I think this is one of the pitfalls of this season, is that we're seeing the formula be played out and we are anticipating the formula. So we go, okay, cool. So we're going to get a bit of storyline. We're going to get a bit of character development. We're going to see some outlandish shit. Okay, so what's the outlandish thing we're going to see this episode? Okay, this week we've got flying goats and sheep and killing chickens. Okay, great. Okay, that's really fun. All right, great. What's going to happen next week? I don't know. There might be a snake that goes at somebody's ass. Like, you know, it could be anything, but we are anticipating it now. The shock value is gone. The humor, even in that kind of regard, has gone. Like, yes, it was funny, like you say, for a moment, but they used it as the main kind of thread for about 5-10 minutes, and then injected the virus to see if it was going to work on the sheep, and then all of a sudden it worked on them very suspiciously quickly as well. By the way, I think the fact that they died that quickly, I was like, nah, I don't think that's true, because as well, if you take it then away into what happened in Gen V, when they were actually giving it to the human test subjects, it took a lot longer for them to start really dying. Their effects started to progress, but they were progressing at a different rate, at a different pace. So
it was a lot more painful.
And a lot more painful. It was instant.
That lamb, it was literally like, drop.
Yeah.
I was like, what? I mean, that's quite a nice way to die, right? I mean, it's not, but you know. Also, just to go back to like the lack of like no one dying, there was a perfect opportunity for Huey's dad to kill Daphne, who is Huey's mother, has a name, Matthew.
I knew that. Daphne, that's what I was going to say.
Have an opportunity for Daphne to die, and that would have been great. Huey would have been that would have given him anger, given him juice for the rest of the series. But no death. No one that we cared about died. We had to bring in a new hospital, bring in a completely new character in order to kill him off. It's come on, guys, come on, be brave, be brutal.
I don't want to talk bad about it, but do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. You're right.
If no one dies in this series, then it really will. I've got to say, it will go down a peg or two for me, this show, if no one dies by the end of the series, because there's the whole premise. The whole premise is that people die. They're super heroes with absolutely warped brains, and no one has killed anyone of any magnitude, right? It's just nuts.
Do you feel like Huey's dad's death is big enough so far in this series? Because this is the thing. I would say it's not, because it only really affects one character.
Yeah, and it also not a surprise. It's something that's been, he's in a hospital bed. It's all very like, he's in a hospital bed. This didn't work. The hospital staff thought he was going to die. It's not a surprise death. It's not even like a brutal death. It's just it's almost like natural circumstances. You know what I mean? Which is it's really disappointing. I'm like, I want death. I want proper. Give me the stakes.
We'll have to wait and see. I think, we'll just have to wait and see with that. But moving on, let's talk about the Vought Expo of the Vought V52 Expo, which is, I mean, if it's not a blatant jab to the MCU, I don't know what is. This was clear as day, clear as the Infinity Stones, my friend. Like, we could see very much jabs on the phases of movies that they were rolling out for Vought. I think I really liked it. The Deep said we're going to spend the next hour going through each of these movies in exhaustive detail, and I was like, Jesus Christ, this is such a Kevin Feige jab.
Oh yeah. And in the same week that Kevin Feige's announced that he's going to be making announcements at Comic-Con San Diego, which, by the way, is another thing I've called this year.
Yes, you did call that.
I said he was going to have a massive set of announcements, and he will do. But it's same week. Mental.
We'll talk about. I think we need to talk about it later. But I'm really interested in what those announcements are going to be, because that's exciting. So right, actually, in all fairness, there was a lot of exciting things that are going through not under the rug, but we're just not able to talk about because we're talking about The Boys and focusing on that at the moment. But Superman images have come out, definite Sabretooth now in Deadpool and Wolverine, new trailer. There's all kinds of things that are going on at the moment, which is very exciting. But that bit I thought was really funny. I think seeing as well the Guardians of Godolkin.
I know. I love that.
Which is, again, another jab about Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, if I have to say that, obviously, I think we all know that, dear listener, but, interesting.
Yeah, we get Sam and Kate, who are very high up Homelander's arse, and the new members of the Seven. Are there seven people anymore? I don't even know. At this point, I've completely
Are there seven?
lost track.
No, there are for now. I want to say by the end of the episode, A-Train's going to be defecting. I think A-Train's getting out of it. I think A-Train's gone as well. If we're talking about deaths, I definitely think A-Train's going to be taking the chopping block at some point.
Okay. But again, quite weak. Another if that's the death, still quite a weak death for me. That's not. He's he's like a secondary character. Be like removing the Deep. I'm like, okay, yeah, they're background characters. But I like those scenes, but I wish we'd have got more of the actual substance of the scenes, what was going on stage, because we got. Sorry, you go, mate.
Yeah, no. I think you were just about to say it. The fact that when they were announced as the Guardians of Godolkin at the Expo, Sam and Kate then walk on. You're like, oh, great. Oh, my God, it's fucking Gen V. Brilliant. Let's get a scene. And the camera just pans away backstage to Ryan and Homelander. I'm like, really? You're literally just going to get them to come on and walk on stage as a cameo, and then have them have that one line when they're in the briefing room in Fort Towers. Is that it? These guys have been following their story in Gen V. And also, you can't assume that the general audiences haven't watched Gen V. They have watched it. We've all watched it. And we love those characters, and it was a really good season. And it was a really good series as well. Like, can we just, see more fleshed out scenes for those characters, please? But maybe they didn't because they're not part of the bigger plan. I don't know. It's weird.
But it was like it with all of the people. So whenever they went on stage, we just went to a really aside from the Homelander and Ryan one, which was actually quite a good progressing story to see where Ryan's at. But the other ones where you got Ashley keeps coming up, and I don't really understand why we keep seeing Ashley. I'm hoping she'll have like a big part to play in Gen V2 because I like the character, but she's just not really having much substance in this, and just all of the offsides in the stage scenes just were a bit like, okay, cool, all right. It's a lot of background plots that we're supposed to give a damn about, and we're too close to the end, both of this series and the program as a whole, to give a crap about any of these secondary conversations now, unless it's a pivotal part of what we're going to see play out, which, in all honesty, it probably will be, but will be roped in a really weird way. Like, they were all having discussions because they're against 4, they're against the 7, so now they're going to be against Homelander. So a bit random. Actually, didn't need to see all of those little scenes play out. Just give me the joy of the moment at the end when they have their Avengers Endgame moment.
That's that's what we're leading up to, right? Isn't it? Like, we're all very much leading up towards like some sort of like weird civil war on the streets where they're all going to fight each other, and we're going to, battle lines will be crossed, and that'll be it. We know that that's going to happen at some point. I don't know whether it will happen in this series or next. But what I did think was quite like, oh, okay, no, this is definitely happening. And what confirmed that to me is when Homelander said to those guys in Fort Towers, when the time comes, have you got my back, kind of thing. And as much as I think that we're probably going towards that, what if, and I'd like to see this, is if Homelander, going back on the theory that if the vial doesn't work, but if anything, it actually enhances Homelander, what if everyone goes against Homelander? It is Homelander against everyone. Do you know what I mean? Like, that would be interesting.
And I think... Yes, I would love to watch that. I'd love to also watch if it was Ryan and Homelander, and see how that ends. Because I think that's the thing, actually, right? I think it's more interesting what they're going to do with Ryan than Homelander, because Homelander probably likely to not make this program alive. He probably is not going to be alive by the end of the show. We've followed his arc throughout all of the series of The Boys. He's very much against everybody else. If he won out of all of this, it'll be quite an odd story to tell. It's a bit like, okay, bad evil man has won, and quite, I don't know where they go with that. That's a bit odd, right? So in my mind, he has to die at some point. So I would argue that Ryan's story is more interesting because he, as a young person, how are they gonna portray what happens to him? Because if he dies, is a show even as bold as The Boys going to show the death of a young person, around 15 years old or however old he's supposed to be at this point? So I'm actually, Matt, more fascinated what they do with Ryan.
Yeah, do you know what just came into my head? What if they got rid of him? What if he died? What if Butcher accidentally kills him, or Homelander accidentally kills him, or do you know what I mean?
That's gonna be. It's gotta be accidental, isn't it? I don't think even the boys are brutal enough to go. Oh, no. Someone's actually strangled a kid. And then it goes. Well, how could he die accidentally? Now, possibly, he is the way that we find out what happens when you give this
vial. Yeah,
give this vial to Soups. Maybe he thinks it might. I don't know. Maybe he thinks it's Compound V and will strengthen him for a fight, or maybe he takes it, completely unawaringly, whatever the word is. But yeah, I'd be fascinated to see that play out, because actually that'd be an incredible use of finding out that A, that vial is harmful. But B, also causing a potentially quite emotional scene between him, Homelander, and Butcher as well.
Because the other thing is that Homelander had that scene with Ryan where he was like, look, for the first time I'm going to listen to what you want, and I've realised that I've literally been parenting you, in quotation marks. He's not been parenting, but he's been saying he's been parenting through his learnt past and his experiences and stuff. And he said, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to change my tactics with you now, Ryan. And then we see it being played into something that's a little bit more positive, to oddly wholesome as well between him and Ryan. So I think they might lean into that a little bit more. And if anything, I'd encourage them to lean in a little bit, because it then humanizes, or at least kind of adds the charm to Homelander a little bit more. That we go, oh, actually, no, I do care about these, their relationship, father and son. They're trying to make it work, albeit it's not exactly the right way about doing it, but we have investment in that regard. And then if it was just literally say for instance they focused really deeply on the next few episodes on their relationship, we saw some really lovely touching moments between Ryan and Homelander, for then Butcher just to come in, or just somebody just to come in from the boys' side and just either obliterate Homelander or just take out Ryan. What if that vial went intentionally into Ryan's arm, and then boom, that's it, and that's taken away from us? There is potential. I think there's potential in that.
There absolutely is. I think there's incredible things that can happen with those two. The virus at the end of the episode, so Butcher chops off Samir's legs. So there's we have Newman is absolutely distraught, doesn't know where Samir is. Last shot, we see Butcher.
And as well, that was piped in. That was piped in. Victoria's
Newman and
Newman and Samir,
okay. And just a very weird conversation in front of his dad about sex, and it was all it all felt very forced in order to tell the audience that these two have been banging and know each other. And I was just like, well, it's very forced, very odd, very very jammed in at the last second. I was like,
I don't think she needed anything like that. Do you know what I mean? We don't need to sympathise with her. She's cold, man, and that's what works. Yeah,
I agree. But yeah, Samir's got no legs, and Butcher says it basically asks him to make more of the virus. Yeah. So what are Butcher's plans? Now, with this in mind, have you seen the teaser that the boys have put out for episode 6?
No, I haven't. Tell me all, my friend.
So you tell. Oh no, I might be able to get it up quick for you.
Oh. That's not the first time you said that.
So this, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you one clip from the teaser, and then I want your thoughts immediately. How do I pause? Right. So.
Oh, the tension, mate. He's literally just got his phone out. He's just going to show me.
You've got to watch.
It's literally a Twitter video. That's all it is.
you've got to watch very carefully because it happens very quickly after this.
Alright.
Did you see that?
That was Victoria Newman's head.
Popping
Exploding.
off. That was Victoria Head's popping off. Now, this is the official boys' account. So I haven't shown you a leak. This is the boys' account showing a trailer. And in the trailer, we see Victoria Newman stood in front of what I believe to be her father. No, not her father. And her head pops off. Now, this raises questions because obviously...
Well, it's definitely not her.
Not her and not her death. And so, which raises the thing, again, are we really going to get a fake death again? This is exactly what I am getting sick of. Stop making deaths that aren't deaths.
Stop bringing people back from the dead. Doppelganger's died, hasn't he? Is Doppelganger died?
Has died.
So we need another Doppelganger.
Homelander absolutely destroyed him. Yeah.
So Doppelganger's gone, but what about Firecracker's obsessive mate? Is he dead as well? He can duplicate bodies.
Oh,
But he can't shapeshift.
He's not the one that died in the thingy, is he? To Butcher.
Oh no, he is dead. No, the guy in the trailer.
Butcher absolutely went for him, right? In the trailer.
Oh, he did. Yeah.
So
okay, well.
So Newman somehow,
Maybe it's a dream.
Yeah, or it starts off with you were cordially invited. Is it a film? You were cordially invited to a wholesome evening at Tech Knight's. So they're at Tech Knight's house. Now, it might be that as it's Tech Knight, and we know that Tech Knight is involved in like the films, that he was publicising his own film, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So it could be that this is a film, maybe, that they've created. Quite why they'd create a film with Newman, top dog at Vought, having her head popped off, but who knows? So yeah.
Okay, interesting. We'll have to wait and
Very
see. I mean,
intrigued.
she's definitely not dead. They wouldn't show that. Nobody would ever in their right mind show any reveal like that on an actual episode.
It is the boys, though. So
it is the boys, though.
Absolutely. And to
stranger
be
things have
honest,
happened.
Simon Pegg basically announced his death on Instagram. Did you hear about that?
Did he? I know, I missed that.
Yeah, so before the episode, yeah. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to. He posted like an Instagram post of a picture of him. Shows death Instagram, and I can't remember. He puts like a quote like it's not gonna work or something.
Oh,
so they kind of behind the scene. Here we go. Is this it? Oh God knows. Anyway, yeah, they definitely did. But yeah, I can't find it anywhere. People know what it is. Oh yeah, here you go. This is it. So on the Boys TV Instagram, so not his Instagram, they put up a picture of Simon Pegg doing a peace sign with a caption that said "spoilers without context," and then the song that was linked to the Instagram post was the Verbs "drugs don't work."
Shit.
The drugs don't work. So yeah. So I mean, they have been known to spoil it, but I'd be very surprised.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to wait and see. That's part of the beauty. I mean, we're at episode 5 now, mate. What is your current rating? Where are you at currently with your thinking with season 4 of The Boys?
Oh, I'm going to say at the moment, it's a half bag of ready salted crisps.
Half a bag.
They're nice crisps. They're not sensational crisps, and it's only halfway full. Because I'm a bit like, yeah, okay, I'm not really sure what to think. What about you?
I'm kind of with you there. I think it's pickled onion Monster Munch for me, but it's just the single pack. So you get like 5. Like they taste good, it's nice, but you don't have a sharer pack. It's not. It's not going to quench the crisp needs fully, but it does taste good. So it's kind of like, yeah, it's good, but it's not all there. There are some definite omissions. It's not the strongest season. Yeah, I think, and my opinion's kind of gone a little bit downhill on it since, despite this episode particularly being the better one out of it. But no, I mean, we'll have to wait and see. I think there's still a lot of stories to be played out. I think we'll probably see in episode 6 Huey's dad funeral moment with Starlight there. We might see some like Starlighters there in support, and then Homelander protests as well. Protesting against the Starlighters and stuff. There might be like Tech Knight stuff. I'd be interested to see the Tech Knight teaming up with Firecracker.
Yes,
do you know what I mean?
There is a lot of Firecracker in those scenes in that teaser.
Yeah.
Also, the fact that we've got Tech Knight, it makes me believe we might get a bit more Sam and Kate, hopefully, in this episode.
Yeah, great.
Might get some proper bits of them. So yeah. Really intrigued, but we need a little bit more focus now. Need like where is this series headed? Because it's all feeling a little bit like a bit wishy washy. We need some sense of direction.
Speaking of focus, we put out a few reels and other bits of clips from last week's episode on episode 4, and there was one particular reel we were talking about when he was doing it in the laboratory. Homeland, he just went absolutely off on everybody he used to be with and during his childhood, and murdered everybody in front of Barbara. We were talking about that being potentially like a one-shot, but also more importantly talking about whether do we just need to have a Homelander solid episode. I don't think we're going to get that now. I think it's too far in this season to get anything like that. But if we talk about kind of comments on Instagram, the Meandering Movie Podcast did put in some pretty good points, actually. They totally agree with your thoughts in the one shot. It should have had the whole, or at least the majority of the episode, rather than the brief moments we got in episode 4 with Homelander's bit, because it was just too bitty. There was not enough. It just needed more. And it says, then I sort of put it down, kind of, it felt like we were a little bit shortchanged with it. I wouldn't complain if we got a solid hour of Homelander. And then they went on to say, especially after all this time, I feel fans have earned a Homelander episode, and I fully believe people would eat up and adore a whole episode devoted to a character they enjoy watching. Completely agree. I mean, Anthony Starr's absolutely smashed the role, and whenever he does go in terms of the character dying, whether that's this season or next season, most likely next season, we need to get as much out of it as possible, and just give him the episode. Just give him a whole hour. He'll smash it.
Yeah. Make it make it a duologue. Make it him and Butcher for an hour, and they just talk. Just massively talk it through, and be insane.
Wow, that's cool.
Brilliant. But are we going to get that? Don't fucking think so. I think we're just going to get convoluted scenes and shitloads of them. But hopefully, prove me wrong. But yeah, we'll see. I think we need more clarity. We need more ambitious storytelling, I believe, which kind of coincides with that. And we need more death.
Yeah.
That is my requirements for the end of the series. What about you?
More death. I think we need more just dramatic climaxes. I think that is a big ask, but you know me, I love a good climax at the end of an episode. So something that's I want some more twists, I want some more turns. I don't want it to be formulaic. I want it to be unexpected. That's what I love about The Boys. It's unexpected in nature. So just kind of switch it up a little bit. That's it. Cool.
We'll see you same time next week.
Yeah, we will.
Episode 6.
Yeah, we will. We will be as well on Friday's episode, The Exorcism. Do check us out there. We will be reviewing Wild Card.
We're going to, obviously, if you're in the UK, you'll have a new government in by Friday and a new episode. New government, new episode.
Oh my god, just blew my mind.
It's going to be an insane day. But yeah, actually, with that in mind, please, if you live in the UK, register. Well, you can't register to vote, you're too late. Go and vote. Vote on Thursday.
Vote.
Please use your democratic right.
Vote.
Even if it's to tear up your paper
vote.
Or Piss on it. I don't care.
Fucking
go out
vote.
and democratically vote.
Vote,
Thank
vote, vote. Just go and fucking vote. Vote, vote, vote.
Not vote. Vote. Vote for vote.
All I can say is vote. You just blow my mind. Sorry, yeah. Just go.
Yeah.
Stop listening to the podcast. Just go and vote.
Toddle off and well, you can't do it when this comes out, but if you listen on Thursday,
On a
go
Thursday.
and toddle out, but camp outside your polling station, 8:00 in the morning, get in there, boom, democratic right, bucho. Cool. Big days are coming.
No, oh wait, I've got an idea. What a way to finish. If you vote and you've listened to the podcast and you went, oh shit, I need to vote, or you're kind of voting as you're listening to the podcast, I want you to snap a picture at us on Instagram at Don't Be a Hero Podcast with your vote and saying, I'm listening to Don't Be a Hero Podcast. If that is by chance happening, I doubt it. That's such a niche thing to ask, but mate, that'd be so cool.
Hashtag podcasts at polling stations. Forget about hashtag dogs at polling stations. Let's start podcasts at polling stations. Sells your picks. No, not your picks, not your dicks. Come on, put it away. But yeah, we'll see you then.
See you then. Fuck the Tories.
See you on
Off you go.
Friday.
Bye.